Welcome everyone. This is episode 143, and if you are Rumble hungover like we are, let's talk about it. This is your Royal Rumble AA. Let's talk about it. Everything you have to nitpick, everything you loved, and even talk about Mountain Dew. Knock is celebrating his big win after picking the women's Royal Rumble number last night with Rhea Ripley. But I have the other winner of the men's, the man that goes by so many monikers, so many costume changes from last night. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing a-okay because I should get a bonus point for predicting that I would of course draw Cody's number because the EVP works for the CEO.
He does. All right. Let us know in the chat anything you want to talk about in there. We're going to do a tier list later on as well. So we're going to have some fun with cinematic matches. Of course, Matt Cordona possibly having a cinematic match against Zack Ryder with all his copyrights. So we'll just dive in to some cinematic matches and get your rankings of them as well. But let's talk about the Rumble. Um, Overall, in hindsight, what do you give this Royal Rumble, and anything you want to mention about why you're rating it that way?
Oh man. So in hindsight, um I think it drops to a 3. I think it was a C Royal Rumble. I didn't dislike, a lot of people dislike that there weren't many surprises. It was a very straightforward Rumble, which could explain why it was pretty standard. But I did like the way that current day talent showcased it. Like the men's Rumble started very heavy. A lot of heavy hitters were in the beginning. So it was different, but no surprises.
That's true. And like you said, a lot of they have a big roster. Why not showcase them? You had all the legends and some goofy stuff happen on Raw, the 30th anniversary show. So why shoehorn them in here? Booker T can still go. He's still in good shape. So it was more like a legit entry than having I don't know, someone not entertaining like Scotty Too Hottie.
Right. Oh wait, not right.
Gotcha.
I was so focused on the Booker T part. Um, yeah, I think Booker might have also just wrestled a match for his promotion or something, or he was going to. I can't remember. But I think I'm willing to bet someone saw that headline and was like, "Oh, hey, do you want to be in this Rumble this year too? Like, you're already in ring shape, so why not?" And
Right.
it worked out. It was a nice little pop.
Yeah. Overall, I'll give it a B minus just because I believe the reason I wasn't as wild with it was my own fault for expecting stuff and going online and reading everyone's predictions about who's going to show up. And of course, we all wanted Mickey James there. And again, the Rumble showcased their own talent, so I created my own problems with the Royal Rumble.
I get that. I think that's what a lot of people were expecting. Like, honestly, I've talked about how I hate CM Punk talk so much. I've hated The Rock talk leading up to this because so many people
Yes.
just mentioning, is The Rock going to be in the Rumble? Is he going to win? And I get it because that's what we've been told for like the last 2 years, and this is going to happen. But I think we all should just enjoy the Rumble. Not thought about it. We would have enjoyed it more.
Yep, 100%. Anything you want to dissect about the men's rumble? Obviously, Cody winning was one of the more predictable aspects, but the crowd fucking popped for it.
Oh yeah, that was the right choice, and I will say the most unpredictable thing about that Rumble is that they gave Gunther the Iron Man run, the 71 minutes. He's now the longest reigning, or I guess the longest record for being in the Rumble, not counting Bryan Danielson's greatest Royal Rumble because we don't count that one.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say I'm glad that they had Cody come in last because that gave Gunther and Cody a one-on-one mini match that at the time I didn't appreciate at the time because I think I don't know why I wanted to get to the end. I don't remember why, but I should have. It was a good mini match. I just didn't appreciate the time for some reason.
I blame The Rock for that one too. The Rey Mysterio stuff, he got injured on Friday night facing Karrion Cross, so that's why there was no Rey Mysterio.
Right.
But they handled it fine. They still made a nice pivot, and that was another reason why I think we all still expected The Rock, and I guess, like you said, didn't fully appreciate it as much as we should have. But I thought it was still a good move.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At the time, I was ready to buy that Ray was just taken out by Dom. So good on them to be like this. It was a nice way to get some heat on Dom with the mask ripping. It would have been. Was every member of the Bloodline, not Bloodline, Judgment Day in the Rumble? Was Damian Priest? Huh. All right. I don't know. I wish they had filled that spot then, because it was a little awkward. Just if like I got the implication that Dom took him out, but maybe they should have added an extra person, and then you have a Judgment Day member take Ray's spot. You know.
That would have been a good touch too. I will say about him going in there though without Rey Mysterio, it could have been short, it could have been long, we don't know. But him working more with the Judgment Day and then talents he doesn't normally work with, I think for his future is better, especially if he's going to be in Royal Rumbles after his dad retires.
Right. This isn't his first Rumble, right? This is his what, second or
At least second.
yeah. I think his first one I don't remember being impressed, but this one I think Dom somewhat held his own. Got to be there for the Edge. Did he eliminate Edge?
Everything's just such a blur.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chats in the comments who eliminated Edge.
But yeah, I mean they definitely he definitely is stepping up. He's coming into his own. So hopefully by the time WrestleMania comes, he gets to fight his dad legally, not get arrested for it. He'll be in a good spot.
Yeah. All right, what was the next match? What was the second match of the night? That was the Mountain Dew match.
Yes. Zach, you know what I did during that match? I don't even remember doing this, but I woke up this morning and apparently I'd ordered 5 cases of Mountain Dew.
Good on you. Good on you. This match, you know what would have made this match a little more tolerable? You have LA Knight, who works the gimmick that he is a celebrity. In NXT, he did it big time. He showed off the house. He showed off the jewelry and the clothes, the cars. Should have done that more here. Display that, and then say, you make the match with Bray Wyatt, but then you have him be like, I'm such a big celebrity, just so you know, I got a sponsorship for my own match because that's what a big celebrity we are, or I am. It would have made seeing the Mountain Dew logos everywhere, I think, more tolerable.
I'll agree with that, because it was very strange that out of nowhere they were just like, all right, you guys, you have this big rivalry and Mountain Dew is paying for it all, and it has like there's no stipulations, it's just very colorful, it's very neon.
Right, like Jimmy John's on Brock shorts makes sense because of how fighting is and with sponsorships. I don't see all of a sudden in the new Friday the 13th reboot Jason coming out looking like a NASCAR. Like it just takes away from the spirit, the supernatural aspect.
Exactly. Which I can't remember. Was it a no DQ match or?
Yeah. That's why they use the glow in the dark kendo stick and
you're right. Yeah, I mean if they had, it was just a very weird promotion that was never explained. And so like Bray's just fine with selling out for this match. Like not the wrestler, but the character who's supposed to be like deep and like having a moment. I just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
How's it going, SCW? Thank you for joining us. Amazing video you just finished, that live stream. I popped in, but I didn't get a chance to comment. I apologize.
Always good content. Let us know any thoughts you want to type in there. Otherwise, definitely go check out his review roundup on SCW Station after this review, of course, and episode. Oh man, Bray has to climb a ladder with no rungs. It's so tough to come back from that and the botch at the end. Not the botch, the spot where the camera clearly shows that Bo Dallas, Uncle Bo Dallas Howdy, landed about 2 feet away from LA Knight.
Well, it is funny you say that because I have so a fan captured footage of a different angle, which if you wanna take a look at the stream, you can see yourself. So here's fan footage of the jump.
Oh! What the fuck? There's a fire, there's a fire. What the fuck?
Play one more time.
Oh! What the fuck? fire, there's a fire. What the fuck?
There we. Oh, I just realized I forgot the transitions. You need to see him even.
No, noob, how you doing? Welcome to the stream as well.
I'm raw. I'm right. I am hungover from the Royal Rumble. All right, here it is.
Okay.
Back is on behind you. Oh! What the fuck? There's a fire, there's a fire.
And then one more.
Back is on behind you. Oh! What the fuck? There's a fire, there's a fire. What the fuck is that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that miss.
Come on.
I thought I didn't realize the miss was that bad. I knew he missed, but I was LA Knight like rolled into it, trying to help, but
To that spot, I gotta say no.
yeah, such a weird. Everything about that was weird. I was really hoping that this would get me into this version of Bray, but it's just not hitting.
No. And now we'll touch on it later, but I don't know. I don't know where this is going. If anyone has any suggestions on where this is going, let us know. But this match didn't hit.
No, not at all. I don't think it's LA Knight's fault. I think we talked about during the Rumble that he's been doing his job like amazing. I'm sure he's gonna get rewarded. His next feud, he'll probably be on top, but this just isn't it.
Almost, would you just rather have him not wrestle?
Who, LA Knight?
No, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. If they can, because I mean the Firefly Funhouse, he didn't wrestle for like, what was it? I want to say 3 months. It was mainly like just vignettes, and he wrestled house shows, but I mean, you have to look those up. But yeah, I just wish he came back as the Firefly Funhouse Bray. I think that would be fine.
Yeah. Oh man, that just really let me down. Yeah, if anyone else has any positive comments, let me know. I know some people liked it last night. And thanks to everyone who joined us last night. That was a 4+ hour stream, and we really appreciate you, Anthony and Kyle, for joining us as well.
That's right. If you guys were with us the whole time, it was a blast. We had the predictions, we had trivia, we played some Jackbox. It was a whole good time. You can still watch it, I mean, I look back at the stream and it was tons of fun.
It was. All right. Since that match wasn't tons of fun, let's get to one that was. What was next? The women's.
Yes, it was the women's Raw title.
Yes.
It wasn't entirely a one-sided squash because Alexa did get some offense in there, but this was to set her up for Uncle Howdy or Bray or whatever this is. But Uncle Howdy didn't show up, right? It was just like the vignette or the package.
Yes. And it's. I'll say this: I'm glad it's done for Bianca, and it doesn't go further. So hopefully, she just turns and does something else. I don't think this character should be around a title either.
I'll agree because I don't know what the character is yet. Like, I don't know if she's gonna be the witch or if she's gonna go back to being Dark Alexa or what.
Right.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't need it to be a title thing.
Yeah. Otherwise, the match, I didn't mind it because it makes your champion look strong going into WrestleMania season.
Oh yeah, agreed. This was a great way to get Bianca, first of all, on the pay-per-view, on TV, like on people's minds and winning. So it definitely looks strong going into it. I do wish, one thing I forgot to say in the stream, I wish the champions could be on commentary during the Rumble, because we're assuming that this is going to be the person going into Mania. Wouldn't they have a vested interest in seeing who's going to win the Rumble? Like, I would love to have heard Bianca on the women's Royal Rumble commentary.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been great. They do it with Zelina. Zelina. She's really, really good at it when she's on SmackDown. That's a smart choice, especially because you do just have all men for 4 hours.
Right. Yeah, but match-wise, they did their job. Can't complain.
All right. Noob says both Bliss and Bray should stay away from titles. I kind of agree. Undertaker worked because he was just like he was almost just like the quiet guy who's at the job you work at. So he could get a promotion.
Yeah,
Like this is like super supernatural. This is like Blumhouse.
yeah, I'll agree with that.
Steve is happy the story appears to be moving forward with Bray and the new mask and the puppets. Could it be a step closer to the White Six? I think that's what it's leading to with Alexa Bliss. But I mean, if she's not Abby and there's an Abby up there with Uncle Howdy, then again, just confused on how the story's going to work.
Yeah. I commend him for it being so complex and taking that chance. And I've always said, like, wrestling fans aren't dumb, so you can be a little bit more complicated, but maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am because I am confused and I'm not getting it. So maybe I do need simple storylines.
There's a show on Thursday night, Eric. If you need simple storylines,
Oh God. Absolutely
uh,
not. Knock is not here. We're not bringing up this demonic beast of a show.
all right, let's move on then to. I'm trying to remember if the musical thing was after the women's match, the Royal Rumble
No,
match.
it was after the. I just remember it being before the main event. So yeah, you're right. It was after the women's Royal
Okay,
Rumble.
you're right. All right, I have a thought on that, but let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble. I thought this was showcased, but we talked about it on the stream. The women ran the entire time because the men walked the entire time down that long ass aisle.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki Cross full on just trying to break the speed of sound. But yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, we joked about it. Almost took like 10 years to walk to the ring.
I think the numbers hit by the time he hit the ring.
I think so. Yeah. And then yeah, you could tell that the women were told that they had to rush the ring, which I hate Roman Reigns' entrance because it's too damn long. There's an entrance and then there's just killing time. So when Roman can take, I think it was literally 6 minutes when we were timing it. We literally played like half of a game of Jackbox in that time, and the women have to run to the ring. It's not great. That's strike one for me. Strike two being that they were put in the worst spot on the card, and maybe there's a strike three that I can't think of right now. I hope not, because
Yeah, I can think of one for you.
what is it?
Nia Jax.
Oh, I forgot. I blocked her out of my mind. I hate this woman with a passion.
You know what she says to that? She says, "Meh."
Hate on this thickness. Freaking
Uh,
hate her.
let us know in the comments if you liked the Nia Jax thing. I thought Anthony brought it up. It seems like something to do just to appease The Rock. I don't know, unless she's like unbelievably beloved backstage that we don't know about. I don't think she's really that great for TV.
I feel like somewhere in the back there's like a sign that says we went this many days without injuries, and then Nia Jax just comes walking up and she's like, not for long. I just don't get it. There's so many. You want to sign? Okay, if they need to sign, they're like, okay, we need a quota on like big women. We need someone who's big. Fine. There's so many of those out in the indies. There's so many of those in AEW not doing something. Poach them. Why do you think Nia Jax is worth your time, money, resources? It's just, I just don't get it. I mean, I guess the Rock thing makes sense, but
Yeah, and like we talked about in the chat too. What has she done on the indies besides get booked for one of the worst booked shows on the indies?
so besides getting booked for that and claiming that it was false, she criticized WWE at least twice. I mean, this is towards Vince, but towards like I think Johnny Ace's people. She accused them of sleeping with female talent so female talent could get ahead. Like, she's done nothing good with WWE at all since she left. I just don't get it. And apparently she said like, oh, I don't want to go back to wrestling. I want to focus on growing some cool things in my farm and whatever else she wants to do. But it's fucking awful. I'd rather CM Punk return.
Okay. She's just not good for TV, in my opinion. She is not good on the mic. We know for a fact that she botches and makes rude comments about them, about the botches. This is awful. This is like rehiring your worst employee and being like, well, it's
Yes.
a hand on deck.
And I don't even remember why she got fired. I do remember uh that maybe is so fucking ridiculous. They can't even fire a bad employee properly because they fired her during a mental health break. But still no reason to rehire her.
No, I'm just gonna say this really quick. If it's to join the bloodline, this is the stupidest fucking thing ever because you had Tamina sitting on the sidelines if you really want to go the bloodline route. Secondly, if you really want to make an impact, sorry, I said that word in front of you, Eric,
Of course.
you need to put the money down and get Naomi on board with this. It's a bigger pop. It's a way, way, way better talent. It's someone who is a legit champ and someone who can go on the mic. So she can go up against Charlotte. She can go up against Ronda Rousey. That's where you lay money down if you're adding another member to the bloodline. And secondly, if you are going to add it, it's probably fifthly, whatever. If you're adding another member of the bloodline, you are replacing the most beloved member, the honorary Uso, possibly Jey Uso. We'll get to that. But why are you bringing back someone the fans hate to throw in the bloodline for even just cheap heat?
Agreed. And I hate that term. Like I hate the idea that any reaction's a good reaction. If they're booing you because they hate you, that means you're doing great. No, there's X-Pac heat. There's terrible heat where it's just not fun to see you. Like
Yeah.
but if they really also want to find someone, if you can't get Naomi, and as much as I bag on Tamina, I would if they gave me an option, they said this, it's either Tamina or Nia Jax, I'd say fine, fuck it, Tamina. I'll hate it, but I'll hate it a lot less than this thing. But if you don't want Tamina, I also hate to do this, but rush the Rock's dollar up to the main roster. Then fuck it. If that's the last thing we have to do, I'll take it. It's not gonna be good for her, but fuck it. Anything is better than Nia Jax. I just not down with this at all, and I'm. It's gonna take away a lot of enjoyment for me from watching whatever show she's on.
Yeah. Noob says Tamina and Nia Jax as part of the bloodline would be interesting, but not the best idea. Again, if they took that picture backstage, that's all going making the rounds now. I mean, if you're just gonna do it and just put everyone who's in the bloodline in the bloodline. But again, this is seen like the bloodline could be breaking up. We'll get to that, but Tamina is bad for business. I'm sorry, Nia Jax is bad for business.
No,
She's
you
so
have
bad
my
for business. I'm
perspective.
blaming other women now.
um, I will say, Noob, I will counter that because when the women's tag championships first came out, Tamina and Nia Jax tag team each other. This was the one time I thought that they could actually do something right because they are both big, they both are intimidating, and unfortunately, they're loud. It's an easy. At the time, there were like no real women tag teams besides Sasha and Bailey. They had one job and they couldn't even do this tag team right. So they couldn't do that right. I don't have they can't do anything right. I'm sorry.
Let's move on to something that was so right with this women's rumble. Asuka.
Yes.
This was, I think, my favorite moment of the night. This just the energy, the new look. It's refreshed. Didn't get to hear the music in full yet, but I loved the pop. The crowd was WWE crowds aren't as independent and internet savvy as like an AEW crowd because that's who basically fills that roster. But once she took off the mask, it's like everyone else knew. This was like one of the first times that they knew of an old character for someone else, especially someone else who didn't wrestle in the States before WWE. She got a huge pop when that mask came off.
Oh yeah, for sure. And props to WWE for like during the Rumble match, they kept the camera on her entrance like more times than anybody else. And they gave her time to do the reveal and like do the whole run down the ramp. So this was handled nicely. It was a great moment. The second she popped up, she really looked like she could win the whole thing. But I think it went really well for her that night. That's a good night for her.
Um, yeah, she's putting people over in the ring. She looks stronger and faster than before, so I'm excited to see where she goes after this.
Yeah. She's still keeping the mist. She's still doing the laughing, the taunting. So it's the core Asuka everybody loves is still there, but there's something's different. The
Yes.
murder clown Asuka is what I'm seeing thrown around online. I don't know what they're gonna call her because they can't go with murder, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm excited for it either way. Also too, it looked very odd, and I know I questioned it while we were watching the Rumble stream. Just because you're putting an advertisement during it, but now that I see all the stuff online that Zelina Vega is doing with the new Street Fighter, like fucking kudos to her. She's a huge part of that game. This is like her life gaming and everything. So I mean, yeah, we talk about people doing stuff outside of wrestling and making a name for herself. She just did that while in WWE, so good for her.
Yeah, props to her. I forgot she was doing voices. I knew she was doing something with Street Fighter, but I didn't realize it was the voices. So that's great. They got permission to do that and have fun with that. So good on her. I don't remember how long
Yeah,
she lasted in the match, but
decent amount, a decent amount. She got showcased.
okay, good, yeah, good for her.
Not as much as Mountain Dew, but she got showcased.
Yeah, because I do hope that when she's one of the people who I hope has a great career outside WWE after they leave, like in entertainment.
Yeah.
She could legit be a big time streamer if she wanted to be.
Yeah, she could be. Uh, and then the winner, Rhea Ripley, man, her time is right now, man.
Yeah,
2023.
it's absolutely crazy because before Judgment Day, back when she was Raw Women's Champion, I thought that was gonna be her. I thought not that it was her ceiling in a bad way, but I thought like, okay, this is Rhea Ripley in her prime. She's reliable, good, but this Rhea Ripley is must see every week. She could just legit lead the Judgment Day. She could wrestle men. I mean, she has wrestled men. She's A+ right now.
She is, especially in interviews. That's where she was like kind of struggling a little bit before,
Right.
but everything, she's so comfortable, and that's when you're at your best.
Exactly. Um, do you see her? You said you see her going after Bianca.
I think it'd just be a better match. I think Charlotte's great and everything, but I don't even know who's more jacked. Their gym games are off the charts. I wish I could do a fraction of their workouts. That's what I want to see, just a big heavy hitting match, and I think it'd be a little bit different to see women have kind of like a Drew versus Sheamus type of match.
Right. Do you? Because you know the weird thing about Bianca's title reigns is that they're always. I can be completely wrong. So I don't watch Raw as much as you do. I feel like they are very. You look at it, she wins a lot of matches, and she's very entertaining. They feel standard to me, like a standard run, but I don't want it to end. I don't want her to drop the title.
Right.
So, do you have Bianca drop it at Mania to Rhea, or do you just have them give like a 5-star match to give Rhea a moment?
I say you give it to Rhea, and Bianca can always do the chase or something else. I think she's had a good run. She's still going to have all the other stuff going on outside of WWE, but the iron's hot on Rhea. She's been there for. It's not like a new NXT call up. She's just had a really good revamp. So I say give her the title, no
Okay.
matter who she's going against at Mania.
Yeah, I'll take that. And then Judgment Day will have a title, and that'll help them look more big leagues.
Yeah, that could even make her the leader and cause friction through the months ahead, and then break up the Judgment Day and send people other ways.
Yeah, I'd take that. If they do break up, does Rhea fight any member of the Judgment Day? Like, is there like a match like her versus Finn?
Um, no, I would like to see her versus Priest because they click really, really well, especially in like random stuff while other people are on the mic. You can see them really getting along. But the money is in her versus Dom.
That's true. That's true. I would like to see that because I think that has to be the payoff. Like, at some point, Dom gets his senses back and stops attacking his daddy. He's got to go after the Emperor to his Vader.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Let us know in the chats if you think everyone was making the right calls with the rumbles. The winners, the people that were introduced. Again, I'm kind of let down that Mickey James wasn't there, but again, that's on me for just being that fickle, as you would say, Eric.
I mean, I guess technically, if she was in it and she got eliminated, does that mean she has to retire? Is that the last rodeo stipulation? She didn't. She loses the Rumble.
That's true. I guess that's all right. So everyone else
That's
is a smarter booker than me
that's
because I
right.
didn't think about that.
I know the impact. I don't like the impact booking, but I know it.
You cruise through the impact zone. I know you do. Noob has a good point. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca was teased in the 2K23 trailer. That is a fact, Jack.
Who's the cover for 2K23?
Um, I'm still waiting on AEW Take Forever to come out before I mess around with crap video game covers.
Oh, do you know why it's taking forever now? Do you know what the latest excuse is?
No, what is it?
They're waiting for the ESRB rating system to give them a teen ranking instead of whatever's above teen for US
Is it
and
because of
Canada.
blood or?
Maybe that's possible. I mean, they do have more, not death style, like they have more hardcore matches and stuff than the regular WWE matches. So, yeah, they're trying to get lower to teen, which I guess that as a kid, I remember I bought Grand Theft Auto as a kid, so I don't think the rating should matter too much, but I guess in some way it does. So that's what they're really
Yeah.
hoping for.
All right. It's just so weird now because when I bought Grand Theft Auto 3, they had to check IDs and they had a sign on the door saying, if you are here to purchase Grand Theft Auto 3, we will check your ID.
I
So
I think
it's just different now because you can download it.
that's true. Oh God, that's true. You just do that. I do know when I bought, they also were supposed to check IDs, but I mean, I guess I just got lucky. It's like fuck it, we want your money more than we care about following the law.
Random side note, the GameStop a few blocks from me is gone. So I know of another one that left another brick and mortar place too. So I don't know if is there bubble burst? Am I missing something?
Um, I I think they got a lot of support during the pandemic. Just it wasn't even for GameStop. It was just like to eat the rich type thing. But nobody was supporting GameStop. Like it wasn't for them. It could have been any company in the world that was happening to, and it would have. Which I'm
Uh,
fine with because GameStop is trash.
God, it's such trash. All right. Any other thoughts on the women's match? Anything else stand out for you?
Um, I am fine with Michelle McCool never being in the Rumble. I loved her in her prime, like during her wrestling time, but
Hmm.
she didn't take up as much screen time as she did in the last one, where she was like eliminating people like crazy, but she was still in there for a considerable amount of time holding her own. That was a weird bit.
Yeah, that was. Other than that, I thought it was a fine representation of the women's roster.
Yeah,
There's just so many spots you got to fill. We wanted, I don't know, personally, I wanted more of like Baszler and Rhea. I thought that'd be kind of cool, kind of thing to see in the ring, like we see people with Brock, like Keith Lee and all that. So,
yeah, that would have been cool.
but
There is something actually I realized. So we're gonna go back to the men's rumble in a second because we forgot something. But so my one of my friends who doesn't really watch wrestling anymore, he sent me a clip of Casey Canzaro's Royal Rumble save when like last year or whatever, and I I said to him I was like, oh yeah, she's like Ninja Warrior, she's athletic.
Mhm.
They're probably gonna have her do something again this year, because they always now they like to have it in both Rumbles. But yeah, they just didn't have Casey in this one, and with no Naomi, I was surprised there was no save yourself spot this year besides Cody's
yeah,
attempt.
I think it's just because they're tag champs in NXT, so it just seemed kind of weird being like, "Excuse me, partner, I'm gonna go for a bigger title really quick.
Right.
If I don't, I'll be back to you though because we're a team." Can we talk about Kofi really quick? Does anybody know what happened to Kofi? I cannot find one thing online today what happened to Kofi Kingston, and the cut that we saw last night didn't exactly see what happened. So if anybody has any news on Kofi, we'd love to know because it's just a little mysterious.
Right. Um, yeah, it's always
Kofi's
worrying
okay.
when it's no news because that usually means that they're waiting for results. Sometimes it could literally just be nothing. But yeah, the fact they're quiet about it is worrying. I'm looking up now. And yeah, still nothing.
Uh,
It's
uh,
I mean, I first of all, this first, second, and third, I hope Kofi's okay. Um,
yes.
it might be time for him to stop doing these spots because, I mean, he doesn't like him either. Like he has gone on the New Day podcast. He said that he doesn't think about this spot until like the night of, and he like it's not something that he's like excited to do every year. It's just something that they want him to do it. Um, so I think at this point he's done more than enough for us
I think so.
to just be in a rumble and take it easy.
Yeah, I almost would have preferred more of a final five Kofi Mania 2 tease rather
Yeah.
than a spot. Because we're under the Triple H era. Anything can happen. But also Vince is back.
Right. Sadly we didn't get Big E back. It seemed like it when we had both members in there. But that was that was kind of a weird night for Xavier because he was in and then I feel like he was out just as fast, no real impact.
He's promoting fighting Chad Gable later, so I think that's just a tease or a feud that might happen. I mean, that'd be a cool Rumble match. We don't need a tag match with the New Day and Alpha Academy. A one-on-one, that'd be almost a better match.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I Xavier's a great one-on-one wrestler. I think he forgot how good he was until he fought Riddle.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So Hardy had the theme song. He had that play. This took up a good amount of time. This was so unnecessary when you have a long pay-per-view, and I mentioned this in the chat. I don't understand why this wasn't set up in the ring already. So then he opens your show, and then you do your vignette clips interacting with the live Hardy performance. You build up the show, and then after that, you do your Royal Rumble package. That gives you plenty of time to take everything down from his set. And that way you're not wasting people's time. But I guess it makes a bathroom break, I guess.
Yeah. I mean that was a weird thing altogether. I don't remember if they did that last year or any year in the Royal Rumble when they have a person just do a live performance. Um I didn't even hear the song because I think I turned the audio down subconsciously and I was like, I'm not putting this back up. But yeah, it was a weird spot, weird time. I guess technically they did it. I could see them technically being like, okay, we don't want to really put the women in the worst spot of the night, even though it was, because I don't consider that performance a segment. But I guess that's their way of having a breather between the Rumble and the main event.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right. Should we get into the main event now? Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
Yes. Oh man, what a match. Um, I'll give props to Kevin and Roman. They find a way to do something a little different each match. It's not the same routine. Um, Roman matches can be kind of slow, and this one, yeah, it wasn't fast paced, but it was hard hitting. Like the Kevin Owens getting thrown into the steel steps, Roman kind of torturing Sami Zayn by the way he's hurting Kevin. Some nice touches there. And as I said many times last night, Paul Heyman's facial reactions just stole my heart. And just the way he looks at Sami Zayn when he hesitated, just oh, I loved it.
Good stuff all around, man. And then this, you think this was the biggest pop of the night, maybe? Again, let us know in the chats what you think the biggest pop of the night was. Maybe it was Edge, maybe it was Asuka's mask coming off, Rhea Ripley winning, Cody winning. But this got such a huge reaction from a 51 plus thousand people in attendance, standing on their feet, waiting to see what happens, because we are at this cusp of a great storyline. Sami Zayn finally hitting Roman Reigns with the chair, breaking free of the bloodline. Man, what it's again a moment that we saw coming, but it was just such anticipation for it and it was done so well.
Absolutely. It was such a bittersweet moment because it was like you said, it was the culmination of the storyline. We all knew it was coming. But the sad part is we all knew it was like the honorary Uce is gone. All those fun times are gone. uh, it had to happen, but damn, am I sad that we're done with the honorary Uso. And I'm happy to see where this goes because I think they take the title, at least one of the titles, off the Usos and help Cody even the odds against Roman. But yeah, this was a I think this was definitely popular night.
Yeah. Such a sad moment. Jay walking out and then I don't know how you say tweet in Instagram lingo, but he put out on his IG that he's done, and then there was a red blood drop, so he's out.
We'll see what
Oh,
happens because I as you said that I opened Facebook to get the tweet, I mean the post, and the first thing on my feed was that post.
oh man, it's good storytelling because we put ourselves in the situation where we want Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has to be the one to face Roman Reigns now. Why isn't Sami Zayn in the Rumble, or is this what we're gonna get? Um, but then storytelling wise, this is exactly how Roman treated Jay.
Right.
And then Sammy treated him with love, and now he saw the difference tonight, and he walks out. So I mean, look at the long-term story booking on that, and then the book ending of Jay Uso in the Bloodline and Sami Zayn's journey in the Bloodline, and Jay still having that PTSD and it coming across on the screen.
I there's so many ways that you can really end this storyline. I mean, I think the problem is we're not going to see Jay pin Roman, and I don't think we're going to see Sammy pin Roman. Like it's just something that it's. I'm trying to think what's a classic, like who's someone that should have beaten Hogan besides everyone, but obviously they weren't going to because Hogan.
Right.
Uh yeah, I mean this is great storytelling. If this ends up with Roman being on his own in some way, if Jay can convince Jimmy to walk away, if Heyman can see the writing on the wall, and this leads to Roman getting his break, which I think he wants. He definitely wants a lower schedule. So after
Yeah.
Mania, I could see him going away for a while.
Yeah, I could see that too. I really wanted a full bloodline with Naomi. It just makes sense. But what happened happened, and it is what it is. And it was still entertaining and great. So one of the best storylines I can think of since when I was buying into everything when I was younger, around the Attitude Era.
Would you say this is I'm going to say the time frame for when AEW started because I think that's when long term storytelling came back regularly. Would you say from AEW starting to now, Bloodline is the best long term storyline in all of wrestling, or has AEW done something that's topped it?
I don't think AEW has done something that topped it. I think that they tried to. And again, with AEW's long-term story booking, it's either Tony Khan doesn't know how to end it, or it's something unfortunate happens. Like it's always an injury, or it's always like some weird thing with like a visa with Pac or something, or someone holds a press conference after a major pay-per-view.
Right.
But that's I think the biggest thing with AEW is long-term story booking. It's the unfortunate stuff, and then peppered in are Tony Khan's storytelling mistakes.
True. Yeah, I think I agree. I think this might be the best storytelling since then. Second maybe like second goes to maybe Hangman Kenny, but some stuff went on there. But yeah, this was great to watch, and I think people are gonna be talking about this storyline for years. People are gonna look back at this. It's gonna be a legendary example, and I can't remember. It was either you or Knock who said it. Like people were cheering a Roman Reigns title defense match. So that's how good this storyline has been.
Yeah. Oh, just really good. We're not out of the woods yet with it, so we still got more. We talked about it. Sami Zayn is on the chair for Elimination Chamber. Any thoughts on what the chamber could mean? Could it be a split of the titles? Could it mean someone else is going to face Cody at WrestleMania?
Ooh. I mean, okay, so all this time, I think every time I talk to someone about the title splitting, we always assume that Roman fights both nights.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think now that I'm taking a second to think about it, I really don't want that because I don't like the blood. I love the bloodline, but I don't like that they're always on both shows. So if you're telling me, okay, we have 2 nights of WrestleMania and Roman's on both shows, essentially, that to me, that's the same thing that I can't. I'd be a hypocrite if I said I like that. So if they want, if this leads to Sammy taking it from Roman at Elimination Chamber, and I don't know. I mean, could Jay fight Sammy at Mania, or could Kevin? I don't know. It's like if Sammy does take an Elimination Chamber, I think that would be a really huge pop. I think that might honestly be the biggest pop of the year. That's
Could be.
that's an underdog who everyone thinks deserves the championship winning it. That'd be really huge. That's Mick
Yeah.
Foley winning it.
That it is. Man, there's a lot of good storylines that come out of this. So I'm just
Or Jay could somehow win it at Elimination Chamber.
I mean, they could position him to, but it's just weird because he's still got to defend his belts with his brother.
That's right. Yeah. I keep forgetting that he has that, yeah. I mean, at some point they have to lose one before, because I don't think the Usos can wrestle both nights. That's just asking too much.
I don't think anyone should. I think every spot should go to someone different.
Yeah. So, I guess, yeah, I don't even know what 2 tag teams. Besides, I see Kevin and Sammy being one of them, but if they go a singles route with Sammy or Kevin, then I don't know what other 2 tag teams. Maybe Judgment Day, maybe Viking Raiders if they're still. I don't know where they are, but
Yeah, Street Profits could do it on Raw. Their momentum is steady, so they're good.
True.
Any other thoughts on Royal Rumble as a whole?
I'm trying to think. Did you feel the 4 hours?
My back did.
I mean, I know it was so much fun because we did it together. So I'm trying to think, if we watched this solo. I think if we did this offline, no stream, I think the show would have been a lower grade. So they're lucky that we were just so damn entertaining. But otherwise, I think it was for Triple H's first Royal Rumble. If this is his first ever Royal Rumble booking, then I'm okay with it, because Royal Rumble is a tough thing to book. I just think next year's has to be great.
Yeah, and again, we got it twice now in the new year with Mercedes and AEW, and now The Rock with the Royal Rumble. It's our fault.
Yeah.
It's our fault.
I think pro wrestling fans need to learn to just shut up and watch what's in front of you. Like, I'm tired of all the speculation. I'm tired of the CM Punk and The Rock and all of that. Just watch the people who are actually wrestling.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on? And we do a live tier list. You guys tell us where we're going to put these cinematic matches. We're just going to have some fun, laid back. It's a pizza party kind of day.
No. I think we're good. I think we got it. Honestly, I'm ready to hit this tier list. We've been going for, how long has the stream been going for? How long have we been doing this? For some reason, my thing doesn't want to tell me how long we've been going, but screw it. Let's just do a tier list.
Okay, we'll get to that. And I just want to make a mention to Rampage. Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter. Awesome match. If you want to watch a match from this week, watch that one.
Oh, so I was bartending when I saw this one, and I was surprised. I was like, I kept thinking, is that Emi Sakura? Because I haven't seen her. This again, I don't watch wrestling as much as I should for someone who hosts wrestling podcasts, but yeah, I was surprised to see her. It looked like a really good match, so I might go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, she was solid. She was fluid, great, and Hayter sold everything. She was a pro. So
nice. Alrighty, let us get into. Before we do this, are we doing a promo school this week, or are we skipping it?
Let's get promo school this week.
All right, because I mean, I think the character changed. I think Slimmy and
he did enough character work last night. If you want to go back and just see kind of how our live streams are, last night was a perfect example of how we do live streams, how we do Rampage on Fridays, how we do watch alongs with like Dynamite and everything else. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of games. And if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, join this family, because we love your comments and everything that we do back and forth.
Absolutely. All right. So We could have done a tier list for all the Royal Rumbles, but that would take forever. So instead, we're going to do a tier list on cinematic matches. I don't believe this is every cinematic match that's ever happened, just like the major ones.
That's fine.
We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 cinematic matches. We have rankings from GOAT, A, B, C, D, and didn't watch. We're going to decide where they go. If you in the chats help us out, let us know where you think they should go, and we will definitely take your opinion into consideration. Without further ado, Zach, the greatest of all time, the GOAT himself was in a cinematic match. Do you remember?
Jesus Christ.
Do you know how amazing Cena has done everything? Can we take a second to think this guy was around when cinematic matches were a pipe dream? And then he said, "Hey kid, hey Bray, you want to have the greatest cinematic match of all time? Because I introduced to you the Firefly Funhouse match." We went through every period of Cena's career. I'm getting the vapors just talking about it. We had the Doctor of Economics. We saw him as Hollywood Cena, I believe. And he even, the best part is, Zach, he did the job. He laid down for the 1, 2, 3. He gave this rookie the win of his career. I'm saying this goes in greatest of all time, and of course we'll still do the thing where only one can be in the top and we bring them all down.
Oh God, this one brought me down when I watched it. There was some fun stuff in here. I'm giving Bray all the credit for this one, and someone else is just in the background photobombing the whole match. But it was entertaining. I'm gonna say it's a B. That's me being generous.
You know what? Just the fact that you gave a Cena match a B is that.
I give a Bray Wyatt match a B.
That's the greatest gift I could ever ask for. You can take the Mania tickets back as that. I just reached Nirvana with that. I will agree with a B.
Fine.
Next up, we have the Ultimate Deletion. I believe this is the WWE version. Matt Hardy versus Bray. If I remember correctly, they wrestle around the entire Hardy compound. They hit all the major spots. I forgot the names already, but they had Hurricane Helms was in there. Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy shows up towards the end. They had the Mower of Lawns. Is there anything else you remember from this match?
Just the drones, and I think he had did he have his like gardener guy out there as well?
Yes. God, I forgot his name. Senior Benjamin.
Yeah.
That's right. I think was Reby in this? Was she playing piano at some point?
I don't know. I don't think she was.
No, I think that was the other one.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna give this. I could say B. It ended with Bray Wyatt getting thrown into the lake of reincarnation and led to the leaders of worlds. I think a B is what I'm happy with.
All right. I was gonna say a C just because this felt like Vince McMahon producing it. It didn't seem as like cool as it's like comparing Clerks 1 to Clerks 2. I enjoyed them both, but I'm just saying, like, one seems a little more raw and interesting, and the other one seems a little more polished.
With God, you know, Clerks is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Have you seen 3?
I haven't. I missed the premiere. I definitely. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I watched it on a plane ride back and cried on a plane ride back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was honestly. I'm sorry, folks, but we're talking Clerks now. I was honestly scared because when I read the synopsis, it just seemed very different. It seemed, because I know it was like influenced by his heart attack, but I was worried that it wouldn't hit the same as the first one.
Yeah, they hit it. I think they did.
Okay, sweet. Then I definitely see it as soon as possible. With that, C for Clerks. You've convinced me. Next up, Adam Cole versus the Velveteen Dream in a backlot brawl match. Velveteen, I believe, was cosplaying as Negan, I want to say, for this one. This was when, I think this was Dream's last chance at the NXT Championship. If he lost, then he would not be allowed to challenge Adam Cole anymore, and he did lose. I don't really remember anything special about this match. NXT cinematic matches were not that memorable, in my opinion.
Was I think what they thought they were doing was what AEW accomplished with the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz.
Right.
It was like a light version of that.
Surprisingly, that one is not on here. Yeah, I think the Santana Ortiz one worked better because I think there were some more hard hitting spots, and for some reason I remember Sue being in that match, so I guess Sue is the MVP.
Yeah.
Um,
This match though, it was kind of I forgot about it until you just brought it up. I'm gonna give it a D. I just because like I give it a D for such a bad reason for giving it a D. I give it a D because they protected themselves, unlike the AEW match. But like that's why I give it a D because it just seemed so like I don't know,
I
too
get it. Like,
soft.
if you're gonna do that kind of match, then you have to be willing to take the bumps. Even though I don't want them to die,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah, I'll agree with
What
that.
do you give it?
I
Yeah. Okay.
a D. If there if there was an F here, I would probably consider putting it there, but um, especially because both these two people, um, controversies withstanding, they've had much better matches.
Yes.
All right, next up, we've got the Inner Circle versus the Elite in the Stadium Stampede. This was one where Matt Hardy was filling in for that empty Elite spot because Cody, for some reason, wasn't in the Elite. And Hangman, this was like the beginning of Hangman like drinking and he had the horse rode to stadium with.
Yeah.
You remember anything fun from this match?
I just remember not wanting to look away, like getting run over, the mascot stuff, using the stadium so well. It could have felt very empty, and you could have felt the empty space in there. It was just like they filled it up. The camera shots were tight. We talk about AEW's production. I thought this was. I'll put this up there with the GOAT. This and another match we'll talk about on here gave everyone high expectations in the pandemic era, and we saw a lot of them not work, like we just talked about with the NXT one.
Right. I definitely a lot of fun moments. Didn't want to look away. It was very entertaining. I early AEW. I can't remember who said it, but one of the podcasters, like wrestlers turned podcasters, said at the time NXT was hard hitting, but AEW is like a car crash. You can't look away. It's exciting, and this was a car crash of a match. You had Matt Jackson doing the Northern Light suplex all the way across the entire field. You had Matt Hardy dunking and reincarnating every time with Santana Ortiz. Hangman and Hager having a beer before they start fighting. And honestly, this match was filmed or produced like it was skits, like different scenes would
Yes,
take place.
agreed.
So I agree. I'm gonna put it up there with GOAT.
Okay.
Next up, Hardy versus Hardy, the final deletion. The granddaddy of cinematic matches. I think this was the one that really started the trend.
Hmm.
I think I watched it. I think at some point I did go back and watch it, but I honestly can't. I don't remember. Do you remember anything about this match?
Not much, really, to be honest.
Right. Like I think it happened on like this is where Knock would have be taken over. Um at the very least, I am no matter what, I am gonna give it an A because this was the thing that started the cinematic matches. Even if I can't remember if it was good or not, I do know like without this match we wouldn't have had the others.
Yep, agreed. And this match too, I saw, and it made me go back and watch all the broken stuff.
Right. Like this is how broken Matt Hardy should be. Like AEW's botched it. WWE didn't really go all in. Um,
It might be coming back. He's teasing it.
Yeah,
But he teases a lot of the stuff. So
he does. I wish he would commit to just one thing. Like right now, I mean, I know he's still with Ethan Page in the firm or the whatever they're called, the firm, the clerks.
yeah, it's a firm.
um, hopefully I don't know, get out of that, and Private Party can just be Private Party again because they are wasting away in the tag division. But
Yeah.
yeah, I no matter what I say, and it also revitalized Matt Hardy's career. Just like at that point, everyone was all in on Jeff. Matt was just there.
Yep.
Next up, this match had unfortunately, it took place at the same WrestleMania as the greatest cinematic match of all time. But some misguided people will say that this is the better of the two. Undertaker versus AJ Styles, the Boneyard match. Go ahead and talk about it, Zach.
I gotta put this one up there and go. This was just so cool with the use of Metallica, with the use of different aspects of the Undertaker. The Good Brothers are actually used well in here. I think I don't know. I don't want to say, well, whatever. They put on their own cinematic stuff after. This was just really good. This could have been goofy, but again, we got a good mix of evil Undertaker and biker Taker. Just going out and I don't know. It's just really, really cool. Growing up with him as a kid, he was very cinematic. So for him to like end like this, I thought was really well done. And it was the better of the two, Eric.
So here's the thing. I can't remember if we gave it match of the year, or I know a lot of people gave it match of the year. I refuse to give it match of the year because I think that this, out of every cinematic match ever, is the truest cinematic match. Like this was a short film. This was something that you would submit in a festival.
Right.
So
That's true.
I don't consider it a wrestling match. But that said, it is the greatest cinematic match. I think the truest one here. Maybe I guess that spoils which one I'm voting for in the end, but I also agree. Greatest of all time. Next up, Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt in the swap fight. I think it was Horror Show at Extreme Rules or Extreme Rules. I don't know, whatever. This was when cult leader Bray fought Braun for some reason, even though he was still the Fiend. They decided, screw it, let's just bring Cult back, even though I love the cult leader Bray. I think in the end, what happens? He drags Braun into the swamp with the Fiend or something. I think he wins, but I can't remember. Do you remember anything about that?
That's how forgettable it was. I just remember not liking it. I remember checking the time multiple times while I was watching this, and I didn't even get a Mountain Dew while I watched this match.
It looks like they used the same logo as the Mountain Dew stuff. Yeah, I wanted to like it more than I did because I was really excited to see Cult Bray back. But yeah, I don't think it lived up. I think I'm willing to say I guess D above Adam Cole and Velveteen, but not. I think Ultimate Deletion was better.
I agree. Braun, I just don't like Braun. That's it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next up, another NXT cinematic match. Blackheart versus Rebel Heart. Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa. One final beat. Who was it? Regal locks them in a closed ring. There's only a referee, and he says, "I want you to fight this out one last time. After this, no more." Do you remember this one?
Bits and pieces. I remember I did enjoy this. I'll give it a B. I'll give you my response right there. But it's just one of those things and one of those rivalries where you wanted an actual match and you wanted to see stuff in front of fans. So that's I guess the reason why I didn't enjoy it that much, because these two in the ring are just magic.
Right. I honestly don't think I love this feud. They could fight forever. I remember being bored because it was pretty much they had some cool spots. Like I think they climbed like the top of a truck or something. And it was no DQ. And then the ending was Candace shows up and says, "Guys, like you're being ridiculous, you're friends, like you're gonna kill each other." And then she turns on Ciampa last minute, and that's how we get the Poison Pixie. But I think I was disappointed because it was just a wrestling match, and we've seen them do. They've had better matches, but this time there was no crowd, there was no ambience. It was just empty and dead to me. So I give it a C because I think this is my least favorite Johnny Gargano and Ciampa match they've ever had.
That's a good point.
Next up, Otis and Asuka winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. This is when Otis was on top of the world. He had Mandy Rose. He had Money in the Bank. He was just living every man's dream. And he didn't even have to pay for Mandy. He had fan time all the time. So, any moments you remember from this Money in the Bank?
I was this done live? This seemed cinematic, but it seemed like it wasn't filmed either. Like that was my big issue with it. The women part on here were done way better than the men's part. I do like that they intertwined. Of
Right.
course they should have, because they're both in the same building. They should have done it more as a film, not make it look like they did. That was my biggest issue with it. And it could have been a really cool thing. You could have put a little soundtrack behind it so it seemed like a movie. But it's just so weird. I like the women's portion of it, and I really didn't like much of the men's portion of it. You know, like all of a sudden Raisin get thrown off a building, and that's cool. He got thrown off the roof. What the fuck is that?
And then somebody else got thrown right after him.
Now, if someone got hit in the NXT parking lot, I would have gotten that. But like, you get what?
Right.
Whatever middle of the road is for me, because again, the women's stuff, especially Asuka in here, and then the men's stuff, I didn't really care for.
And then I can't remember, but I think Asuka caused Corbin to win. Like I think she knocked him off the ladder for some reason.
Mm,
So thank goodness for Asuka. But
Asuka.
I I can go for a C. I wanted to give it a B at first because the question was how are they going to do this during the pandemic? Like, this was like the start of the pandemic, their first real test, and I thought it was creative. I think that was what impressed me the most. Like the fact that they were like, okay, we have a real problem. We can't have people for the ladder match, so it's not going to be as fun. How do we still?
Mhm.
So I was more impressed with the creativity than the actual match. So
Yeah.
I can go either B or C, whichever one you feel is better.
Uh, we'll give it a B for Asuka. Again, we're here in LA. We get very picky about our films, and we're snobby like that.
Exactly. I could have used. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm really happy with a B because there were a lot of cameos in this one. They had some legends pop up randomly. I could have done without the Vince McMahon and Stephanie ones, but I do remember. I can't remember his name. I feel stupid when I remember his name. Red and white. Like he's red face, white suit.
Oh, Brother Love.
Thank you. And I think they had some Doink the Clown at one point. So
In the spot with AJ and was it Sammy going into Vince's office? That was a part of the men's stuff that I thought was good.
yeah, AJ and Brian, I think it was.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. It had some good moments. Yeah, B's good.
Okay.
Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in a bar fight, or was that really what it was called? Just a bar fight? Okay. I really like this one because to me, this was when Sheamus really found his groove, and he has not lost it since. This was like the start of it when they were like, "Screw it, just let Sheamus have fun and have a personality instead of just being this big guy who likes to kick people." Oh, you muted yourself.
Sorry about that. I like this one too. I didn't like the build up because of the Jeff Hardy stuff, but this match surprised the hell out of me. I liked it. I'll give this one an A again because it surprised me. I wasn't expecting anything.
I'll agree with that. Yeah. I went into this not thinking I'd like it because yeah, the buildup was I hate when they do the Jeff Hardy alcoholic buildup because A, that puts a lot of pressure on someone who's been battling his demons. And B, I mean, this was again, this is like before this, I did not like Sheamus as a singles competitor. To me, everything good that ever happened to him was with Cesaro. But this was the one where he really came out. So A, I was gonna say I put over Hardy versus Hardy, but nah, I think I'm fine with that. Just A. Next up, this one might be all you because I don't remember this. Viking Prophets. Did they have a cinematic match?
It was a bunch of vignettes. What's the
Uh,
bottom tier?
didn't watch.
Oh, I'll go D then.
Okay.
You're taking people that are now seriously, you can see them what Triple H did with them, and you made them goofy as hell and doing all these weird things. So, and I can't see their faces not being funny anymore, even with all the new makeup on. So, yeah, this one should not have happened.
So this was like when they were like competing like axe throwing and basketball and stuff, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Um, in some way, I get what they were doing because I think it worked with Matt Hardy and MVP, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think this should have been the plan with with the Viking Raiders or the Viking Experience at the time or whatever they were. Um, yeah, it was just weird presentation for them, and I'm pretty sure they tried to be like quirky with like the Viking Raiders winning basketball and the Street Profits winning axe throwing or something. It was I don't know. It was just weirdly done. Like I didn't even care
yeah, they
about
just
the
kept
match.
playing like dumb, like they didn't know how the sports worked, and yet they still won. It was just, it was like sitcom crap.
Yeah. All right. The down to final two House of Horrors match: Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Um, I think the only reason I remember this, and I could be remembering it wrong, is because they showed like a house burning on the crappy WWE 2K game, which was supposed to be like Randy burning down the house or something. So I can't. I only remember the match itself. This is very forgettable for me.
It's very weird booking. It's like if you had someone with confidence going into a horror movie. Like if you thought you could handle a horror movie, like if you thought it's like if you got carte blanche to attack people in a haunted house.
Right. Yeah, that'd be awful. Um, yeah, I wish I could remember anything about this match, but did Randy even win? I guess he came out with the
I don't
title.
remember the outcome. If anyone knows the outcome, let us know because yeah, I guess he must have. But I just remember watching this and being taken out because of
You muted yourself again.
damn, I'm not good at this. It is really weird to see Randy Orton doing this.
Yeah,
Let's just say he didn't get too many WWE movies after his first one.
I'm fine with that. The, uh, just the,
Just D.
and last but not least, um, I don't know why I'm blanking on this. I know, like, so I feel like I've seen clips and facts about this match, but the match
Eric
itself I'm
Young.
blanking. Eric Young. It is The Rock versus Mankind halftime heat. Is this the empty arena match? Is that what they're
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
And like this is one where Mankind takes like 10 chair shots to the head or something.
It's it was very cool to watch live because wrestling was on Monday nights and that was it. So it was like seeing this on prime time and doing something during the Super Bowl and being interactive with it during the biggest game of the year
Right.
was really, really cool. When I've watched this back, it when you lose that excitement of seeing that, it doesn't play as well, but it is still well done. I think a lot of cinematic matches nowadays couldn't hit this mark.
Mm. Okay. I'm gonna let you grade this one because I don't think I've ever actually watched this in full.
At the time, this obviously was the greatest, but in hindsight, I'll just say it's a B. That's all.
Okay.
But give it a watch if you can. I'd love to hear your thoughts at some other point.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, when I think of this match, I think of like I watched so many clips that mention the chair shots to the head unprotected, but maybe at the time I'll go back and check it out.
Cool.
All right, that's our list. We have the Stadium Stampede and the Boneyard match at greatest of all time. We're gonna vote to see which one stays in a second. We've got Hardy versus Hardy, Final Deletion, and Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus in the A row. So no matter what, we're gonna have a Hardy in A, just filling it up. So I guess they know what they're doing. John Cena and Bray Wyatt. John Cena carrying the Firefly Funhouse match. Money in the Bank and Halftime Heat at B. Ultimate Deletion and Johnny Gargano and Ciampa at C, Swamp Fight, Backlot Brawl, Viking Profits, and the House of Horrors at D, and nothing and then watch because we know what we're watching. We know what we're doing.
We just don't remember most of it.
Exactly. With that, before we get to the final voting, thank you to the 17 people watching right now. We appreciate you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon. You never know when we're gonna do something. We kind of planned. We always do an episode on Sunday. But we decided last minute we're gonna do this one because we worked hella hard yesterday. We thought, screw it, let's go 2 days in a row. So subscribe and hit the bell icon. With that, Zach, which is the greatest of all time for you, the Stadium Stampede or the Boneyard match?
Boneyard match for all the reasons that you gave earlier, and it just felt like a mini movie. And that's what I think most of these should feel like. Nothing wrong with the Stadium Stampede. That was one hell of a ride, but the Boneyard match.
I completely agree. Like, I don't know who directed the Boneyard match, but I feel like they don't get enough credit, period. Like, they should have gotten some kind of award. They should have gotten some kind of mention. We should know their name and have mentioned them on the show at some point. Props to everyone involved, because, I mean, the build, I don't know if I was too crazy about the build.
It was a tough build.
Yeah. They were trying to say, like, AJ couldn't hang with Undertaker's breed, and it was weird, back and forth. You couldn't really tell who was the face, who was the heel. But
Right.
the match itself more than made up for it. I think it main evented. I think it was the last thing we saw.
I think so. I thought it ended with the Metallica and the write-off.
Yeah. So that was a great way, like, just end the show, just take it riding off into the night. So, great moment.
Yep.
Was this his retirement match, or did he wrestle something after?
I'm pretty sure this was his retirement match, unless he did something in Saudi.
Goldberg didn't happen after this, or DX?
I don't think so. Correct us if we're wrong in the chats, but I'm pretty sure this was how he rode off.
For his sake, I hope so, because this is the way to go out.
Yeah.
And with that, that is our list. Boneyard match greatest of all time. Zach, anything you want to say before we get on out of here?
If you're watching The Last of Us in 2 minutes, join Knock and I. We're going to probably try to do it tomorrow. We've done the last 2 episodes, but we're going to do a full recap and talk about the Easter eggs and everything great that is The Last of Us on HBO Max. So if you're a fan of the video game, if you haven't played the video game and you're just watching the show, join the chats. We do it live. And if you don't watch live, leave comments because we do comment on all our videos. So especially this video. So give us a comment and we'll talk to you all night.
Check out one of the greatest reviews of all time, Zach and Knock. And if you're like me, if you like watching the cool shows, check out Halo on Paramount Plus.
Jesus.
Guy, you get to see him take his helmet off. The guy fucks. He's just great. he's great. With that, again, hit the bell icon. And also, we've got, of course, got the Rampage stream on Friday, hosted by Zach.
Yes.
Definitely check it out. I don't think I'll be doing a Dynamite stream this weekend. I think I'm going to be busy. But, again, you never know what can pop up.
Yep.
With that.
And next week on the show, we are going to talk about NWA Power, their season premiere, live on YouTube Tuesday.
Oh, God. I have to watch NWA Power. Oh, wait, that means I get to see the greatest champion of all time, Tyrus, in all his glory. I can't wait for this now, actually.
Yep.
With that, we got one last second comment we can show on screen, because when you send a live chat to the West Coast Podcast, you make yourself famous. You end up as a part of the show. Dominic Ripley, I refuse to call him Mysterio as he's just not worthy of it. Imagine being the biggest joke in the company as Miz, and which once had X-Pac and Road Dogg. Dom is a wee girl. Ooh. This man went to jail. You sure you want to talk about Dominic like that? He'll shank you, bro.
Kenneth McShane. Kenneth McShane, man. You're playing with fire when you're playing with Dom, but thanks for checking out the stream. We really appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely. Knock will be back next week. He just, we worked so hard yesterday. We thought the guy deserved a break. With that, Zach, where can they find us?
They can find us avoiding injury and not going near Nia Jax. Again, why the hell is she back? She makes absolutely no sense. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay kind, be excellent. Remember to tip your mailman, and have a great night.
Later, everyone.